So I want to make a video this morning, and that video has been inspired by a post Chido Korafor made that I read this morning. And he listed some advice he was giving to single ladies what they shouldn't do when they get married. And that's point two, where he said, do not quit a job that pays you well or abandon a business because of marriage. So I'm going to share my own personal story, and this is my own experience because, when I read a lot of things that women write and I respond to them, some of them don't know, maybe they feel that, oh, maybe that's not your experience, that's why you're able to talk like this. We are all in this thing together. So some of the things that people experience, I have also gone through those things. So in the beginning years of my marriage, both of us, my husband and I, both of us were working in the bank. So when we got married, I was earning a little above what my husband was earning, but I didn't declare my salary to him. And that's for a personal reason. That was also because I had gotten an advice from a an older relative who had some experience in her own marriage where everything, had been done, declared, and all, and it produced a negative effect or impact in her relationship. So I had to give myself some sense because I'm someone that likes to learn from people's experience, and I adjust myself to that until I see a different thing in my own experience. So, and if you have listened to some of my videos, I have said to you that you and your spouse or your partner in the first 5 years of your marriage, those are the learning years. If you like, cut for 100 years, cut for 1 million years, you don't know the person you're getting married to until both of you start living together. And those first 5 years are discovery years. So, in the beginning years of my marriage, I didn't declare what I was earning, but I was ensuring that I was doing everything I needed to do. In fact, I was even overdoing things because I knew what my husband was earning. He declared his and he would ask me. I wouldn't tell him because I didn't want to repeat a mistake that someone else had made, which in that scenario, it was that, and so many scenarios like that. It wasn't even just that scenario. So many scenarios where when a man knows or feels that the woman has money, then he begins to, start playing pranks, he begins to shy away from responsibility. So I did not want that to happen to me. Yeah, so what I did, because I knew that yes, what was coming in for me was slightly more, I made sure that I was doing a lot more. But also that has its own negative impact. I will talk about that in another video. Okay. Yeah, so that has to be watched for women who do those things because when you begin to do things like that, you're also enabling something else in the man. So let me continue this story. So the point I want to speak on is quitting your job because of marriage. So part of our plan in the early years of our marriage was that we wanted to ensure that our kids had dual citizenship. And if you know anything about having children abroad, it is not by believing God or praying about it that you get it. These things are done with money. Yeah, so we understood all that and we were working towards it. We wanted two of our children to be born abroad so that they can have a second citizenship. Yes, we wanted that for them. Then, excuse me, along the line, my mom-in-law started putting pressures on me quitting my job and going for a lower earning job, which she felt and considered, or she felt was going to give me more time as a woman in my marriage. And I was just wondering why, why it is me, why it is the woman that should go for a lower earning job. Then she was suggesting that I should go for like a teaching thing or a lecturing thing. And I don't have any business in that space. And even if I wanted to, I think that I'm old enough to know what I want for myself, So that advice was coming, that suggestion was coming. anytime we have a conversation or there is a call, she would chip it in and ask, so I think you should do this. So I felt that that advice was really coming too much because that's not what I wanted for myself. And also, she's not in our plans. We had a goal, we had some plans, and some of those plans required finances. So if I decide to go by what that advice that she was given, we won't be able to achieve some of the goals that we set for ourselves. And this is how a lot of women shoot themselves in the leg by succumbing to some of these pressures. It wasn't actually coming from my husband. He didn't have a problem with my work. Both of us were working in the same institution, so he understood all that. And but for a lot of women, these things are normal. You get married, you start, people start advising you left, right, and center. They feel that you're the one that has to, you know, compromise on certain things, even when um, your partner doesn't feel that way. And this is another thing I would have to say to our men. In my case, like I said, the good thing was that my husband did not join in that conversation to start putting the additional pressure. But I know that there are cases where it is the spouse that is telling the woman to quit her job. And a lot of times, some of these things come from a place of insecurity. You feel that you don't want a woman who earns money. You think you want to control her more. You want to control her finances. Cases where the men start asking the woman to start crediting their accounts because you want to withdraw her ability to have her finances. So many scenarios like that. I don't know how women fall into those traps. Anyways, these things don't come my they don't I'm not the one. I'm not the type of person that can fall into those kind of traps. So I stood my ground and I had to call my husband and tell him, see, this advice, I don't think I need it. I'm old enough to know what I need. Even my own parents cannot tell me to stop my work, because you were not there when I got the job. So you can't be the one telling me when to stop it. It's the day I'm tired of it that I will stop. Yeah, so a lot of times women make these mistakes and they succumb to these pressures that eventually haunt them, because I've heard of scenarios where the women succumb to these things. They went for a lower earning job and they are no longer able to do certain things they would be able to do for themselves. You can't even afford to have a help in your house. Assuming maybe you have a husband that doesn't want to spend on you getting a help, you're the one suffering, doing all those chores. You can't afford to pay a nanny. In my case, it wasn't about that. I had my money, so if I needed 10 nannies, I can employ them to do my work for me. If that's what I wanted, to ease off my stress. So there are reasons why a woman should never succumb to this kind of pressures, even for marriage and even for the people that allow whoever, you said your husband asked you to stop working, or you go for these lower paying jobs because of whatever they are saying. What if something happens to your spouse? What will become your story and the lives of those children that you've had? You will just automatically switch to becoming a professional beggar. You come on social media, you will just start telling us about your life and all that. Meanwhile, you would have done a different thing. You would have stood your ground and not allow that to happen to you. So I just said, let me chip this in today so that women, you will know that you're not the only ones that go through these things. I have also crossed those mountains and those oceans, and I'm still here. So please do not quit your job that pays you well or abandon a business because of marriage. It is not worth it, because even that marriage can pack up. Then what will be your life? What will be your story? What will be the fate of your children? So I said to chip this in. I don't know who needs this or who is going through this now. I need you to know that you can stand your ground and nothing will happen. Yeah. See you again. Bye bye.